Plaintiff Peter Katos is suing his former tenants, Amanda Storing and Augustine Bulot, for unpaid rent and damages. Peter says he felt sorry for Amanda because she told him Augustine was abusing her in front of her daughter. However, the defendants say they repaired any damage they did to the apartment, and they are countersuing for harassment.
All right, today we have the plaintiff, Peter Katos.
Yes, Your Honor.
Katos, okay, who was suing his former tenants for unpaid rent and damages. All right, why don't you tell us how you came to be here today?
Okay, Your Honor. I had met August and Mandy at the end of January of 2008. They were looking to rent a home that I had. Although I was skeptic to let them rent it, they did not have a security deposit. However, I did feel sorry for them because Mandy does have a daughter who's legally blind, and they were just recently evicted from some government housing that they were staying at.
You have a daughter who's blind?
And autistic.
And autistic? How old is she?
She'll be 5 this month.
Okay, what's her name?
Nevaeh.
Nevaeh, got it. Okay, all right. All right.
Being the good-natured person that I am, my mother raised me to help people, Your Honor. So they seemed like they needed some help in their life. Mm-hmm. And I did have the available home for them to rent. They did agree upon the rate that it was for rent. And so I allowed them to move in without a security deposit.
And what was the rent, Peter?
It was $925 per month, Your Honor.
Okay, and they were paying it. And did you have a lease with them?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you signed a lease, $925 a month? Okay. Sounds good so far.
Okay, well, come April, the rent wasn't paid on time. Mm-hmm. I tried to contact both of them, no phone calls back. Eventually, August's phone was turned off, so I couldn't contact him. I tried to contact Mandy, and I was just getting the runaround about the rent. Well, finally, I confronted her about what was going on, and she had told me that her and August weren't together anymore, that there was some type of abuse going on between her and August in front of the baby. So, being the kind-hearted person.
So now Amanda is living in the house alone and is not making the payments.
Correct.
Go ahead.
So being the good-hearted person that I am, I listened to the story.
Before.
Yeah, well, I'm a mama's boy, Your Honor, and my mother raised me to be good to everyone.
I raised my son to be good to everyone. I hope he is. I mean, but go ahead. All mothers do that.
She came to me about her problems. I suggested that she seek help with the authorities or go that route. But in the meantime, I needed the rent to be paid because...
Let me ask you a question. One of the things you said, Peter, was that they were evicted from government housing, government-assisted housing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Who was evicted, Amanda or August, or together they were evicted?
I believe they both were. I contacted their...
Well, you know what? Right away, there's an antenna that just went up on my head. If you're taking in a tenant who was evicted from government housing, that tells me that there was a problem.
Yes,
Did you
Your
ask
Honor.
why they were evicted?
You know, I didn't really get into the details.
Because being the good guy that you are.
Yes.
You should have had your antenna up, you know? Go ahead.
So she told me her problems with between her and August and what was going on, and she couldn't float the rent living alone. So we had talked about what was going on. She also had mentioned the fact that he might possibly had a drug problem because the 2 months that weren't paid from the rent, she didn't know where the money was going. So she kept going on and on about her problems, and I'm being the kind-hearted person that I am.
You are.
I told her that she needed to seek, the authorities or some type of counseling.
Right.
But in the meantime, she's behind the rent in 2 months.
Okay, so what months are they?
April and May.
Okay, $925 each month. So what do you do, Peter?
So in the meantime, I kept trying to call her, text her, see what we could do to work out. So we had some type of arrangement we wanted to work out. I kept getting the runaround. I never got any definite dates on when I'd get any money. Mm-hmm. So then
Is she working, Amanda? Are you working at the time?
Yes.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Peter.
Well, I had talked to her about trying to make some type of compensation. I even agreed to, if she would at least pay me 1 out of the 2 months, I wouldn't even take her to court to begin with.
Right.
Finally, she just abandoned the home in the middle of May. I went to the residence. There was nothing there. It was trashed. I had no key to get in. The doors were unlocked, and everything inside the home was pretty much
What do you mean you had no key to get in? The doors are unlocked.
When I gave them the keys to the residence,
right,
I failed to make a copy for myself.
That wasn't smart, being the good guy that you are.
No, it wasn't, Your Honor. You're correct.
All right. All right, so the door's unlocked. You go in. What do you see?
Just a trashed residence. Dirty carpets, dirty walls.
You have pictures?
Unfortunately, I don't, Your Honor.
Okay, what are you suing for?
$2,895.
For what? Talk to me.
2 months unpaid rent.
That's $1,850.
Cleaning, the cleaning was $300.
Right.
For the carpets and the walls, and the repairs of the damages, $745.
Okay, but you've got to show me some.
Oh, I have
proof.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, Gail. Paint entire house. Why would you paint the entire house?
The walls were filthy, Your Honor.
In every room in the house?
From the bungalow upstairs to downstairs, there was no basement. Each bedroom had to have a coat of paint.
All right, why don't you look at this? Let's have the defendants look at that. But, I got to tell you, Peter, for someone who is, in the business of being a landlord, number one, you've got to take pictures of damages. You've got to take pictures of an apartment or a house before you rent it out. So I know that when they moved in, the damage that you're repairing is not damage that was there before they moved in. Come on, you know that. Everybody in the audience knows that.
Plaintiff Peter Katos is suing his former tenants, who he claims were involved in a physically abusive relationship causing damages to his rental unit.
All right, hit me. Why were you evicted from government housing?
All right, Your Honor. I lived in government housing. It's all, your rent is based upon what you make. I was a waitress. It wasn't, it was just me and my daughter until I met him. I was friends with somebody who had gotten into some trouble with some drugs. And in order to lower her charges, she set me up to get caught with her prescription Vicodin.
Okay, so she sets you up and you end up being convicted of drug possession?
Yes.
Felony, misdemeanor?
It's a felony.
Whoa.
Yes. Yeah.
So how do you allow yourself to be set up like that?
And you know what? She had called me all day. Can you go pick these up for me? Can you please go pick these up for me?
And you knew you were picking up Vicodin,
and I told
right?
her, I'm like, no, I'm not going to pick these up for you.
Yeah, and then you said yes.
I'm like,
but you knew
okay,
you were
I'll do
picking
it.
up
Stop calling
Vicodin?
me. Right, exactly. Quit
Amanda,
calling me.
what's
I'll go
wrong
get
with you?
them.
You're a mother.
Yeah, it was a stupid, poor judgment on my part. And
that's giving you the benefit of the
right.
doubt that you weren't selling. I'm taking your word now.
Exactly. That is a violation of my lease in government housing. You cannot be arrested. And it wasn't even a conviction at the time, but it was still a violation of my lease.
Were you ultimately convicted, Amanda?
Was I what?
You were convicted of a felony.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I was.
Go ahead.
That led to needing to find a place to live. We only had weeks to get out and have a home. He was willing to work with us. He was very generous. We're like, okay, that's great. But as for the house being destroyed, I repainted that entire house top to bottom. Those
All right,
doors
Augustine,
were
you're
locked.
nodding your head.
He was not here.
But
at
then
the
how does he
time.
know you were repainting?
He had moved out because our fights had gotten so bad between the stress and everything that was going on with us. Yes, it did become physical between the two of us and verbally abusive. And it wasn't fair for my child. And yes, I was trying to float it myself. And I told him everything that was going on. There was no phone call chasing. There was no non-text messages. I got text messages from him breaking the verbal agreement 11 days early.
Let's see.
Yes.
So there was no lease. It was a verbal agreement. What
No,
is
Your
there
Honor,
a
I have a
lease?
signed lease right here, Your Honor.
Yeah, you haven't shown
There
it
is
to
a
me.
I'm
lease.
sorry. I have it right
The
here.
verbal agreement about the 1 month's rent, and we'll call it even.
Okay.
I have
let me
no
read
idea
this.
what she's talking about, Your Honor.
Well,
There he
okay.
goes.
This is a defendant. You said the first, it's only the 20th. I still have 11 days. I've been putting money away. I don't have all of it, but you said the first. Plaintiff, you're a liar. Believe me, you will suffer. That's you. Nice guy.
I had a bad day, Your Honor. I'm not perfect. But I'm kind-hearted.
I don't like this. You know what? Come on. All right. We got a basic lease here. Signed. Okay. Tell me what you think you owe him.
I can see the security deposit because we had agreed to pay him over time the security deposit because
Right.
he did work
was
with
nice
us.
to let you in
Right.
without a security deposit.
Because he worked with us, letting us in, we took care of the trash and the mess that was in the house when we moved in.
Right.
The frozen quart of ice cream that had thawed out, refroze all over the inside of the freezer, the fridge. I mean, we did all the cleanup. There was thick grease and dust on the fan blades in the living room. There was grease all over the place.
Why are you two fighting with each other, by the way?
The financial stress of it all.
Our car was breaking down every week. So we would have to take bill money and fix the car because without a car, we lose our jobs. Or we can't pay him anything at all.
What about, government assistance?
I do get some. And even with that, we were struggling. I was a waitress working at Kirby's Coney Island, making maybe $20 a day. The business had just gone down.
So you can't make the rent, but you understand that he's entitled to his rent.
Oh, I know. We do understand that.
Right.
But this just goes to say, he tries to make us look like horrible tenants. What about the city inspection that took over a month for you to get fixed? I mean, come on. We can go back and forth all day about this.
But you're not.
Your Honor,
Right.
I will say
Exactly.
he's a good-hearted guy. He
He
knew
is.
that my hours were slow. He even tried to get me in as a valet parker at his club. I will
Really?
give him that. Yeah, he did. And
See, that's
during
good.
the,
No, I was just going to say, I was just going to give you credit as long as you didn't credit yourself. I want to focus on you two for a minute.
Okay.
Are you living together now?
No. Me and my daughter moved back in with my parents.
Good.
To get our lives straightened
Good.
out.
You get your life together. You know what? I'm not taking
Right.
a position on the drug thing, but let me tell you,
I
I don't
know.
know whether to believe
There's
you or not.
no
It doesn't
excuse for
matter.
that.
You're going to lose your child, and your
Exactly.
child, the only
I know.
stability she has in her life is you. Do you understand that?
Yes, I know that now.
And you leave her alone. You're fighting with each other.
oh, no.
We're-
We're fighting with
we-
each other.
You're over.
All the fighting and
'Cause you
everything.
seem to be pretty
was
calm
just
with
the,
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
We have rebuilt a friendship slowly.
Smart.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
have separated for good reasons.
Why are you rolling your eyes?
I mean, what can I say, Your Honor? You know,
I didn't ask you to say anything.
okay.
Defendants Amanda Storing and Augustine Bullock admit to being abusive with each other, but they deny owing the plaintiff for damages.
Now, the defendants are not, the defendants are countersuing for harassment. What's
I
an
didn't
harassment?
countersue for harassment for the simple fact that the way that he was on the phone that day and just the consistent text after text and the phone call after phone call, calling him a loser and all sorts of horrible names that I'm not even going to say. Okay, yeah, I think what you want. I'm not him. Don't talk to me that way. Don't sit here and threaten to take away everything that I do have left in life and and chase me down. He's like, I don't care how long it'll take. I'll ruin your life, your jobs, whatever. You'll have nothing. Your daughter will have nothing. I mean, don't beat somebody up emotionally and scare somebody like that because of what's going on.
She makes
It's
a
not
good
right.
point, Peter. And the point is, when people are down and out, and they are, you become a little too over the edge as you were here, that you've got to expect people to fight back. Okay? You get people vulnerable, you get them right on the edge, and they're going to come back at you. It's not worth it. And all I'm saying here is that the defendant clearly cannot recover civilly for harassment. There is no civil lawsuit for harassment. But you could have called the police. You could have made a complaint. And at the end of the day, they weren't going to arrest him anyway. The bottom line is that you owe the plaintiff $1,850, all right, as well as far as I'm concerned, $300 for cleaning and half of $745. I'm not going to give you painting the entire house. I don't think you're entitled to that. The verdict is for the plaintiff, so ordered. Thank you.
Thank you.